Oh, since I really want that.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day to be out here today, but it's already a solemn event that we're here. My name is Michael Kincaid. I'm the project. I'm the fire chief of the city of Forest Grove and the city of Cornelius. Today, we gathered here today to remember a tragic event that happened 12 years ago. It's going to be a brief ceremony, and it's going to be an important ceremony to talk about and reflect on what happened on that day. The first thing that's going to happen is I'm going to ask one of our chaplains to come forward. There are two chaplains that are here today, Chaplain Dexter Danielson and Chaplain Joel Peterson. Both of these individuals are incredibly important for our community. They're all volunteers. They respond at all times of the day or night throughout our community to assist people who have suffered tragedies, to assist our firefighters and police officers. I cannot say enough good things about those people and what they do for your community. And they do this as volunteers from the bottom of their hearts because they care. Chaplain Dexter Danielson is retired from law enforcement, and he serves as the chaplain for Forest Grove Police and Forest Grove Fire. Chaplain Joel Peterson, he serves as the chaplain for Gaston Fire, Cornelius Fire, and Cornelius Police Department. Both of them fill in routinely for each other when the other's absent, and so they cross all lines and we deal with them routinely. I'd like to bring Chaplain Dexter Danielson forward. Good morning. So our previous question that I had after the event of September 11, 2001, where was God? Where was God in all this? Frustration, some of it is not understanding or knowing. To me, back on that day, my understanding is that God was there. Firefighters, CMS, other emergency responders that were there on that day assisting in the power. It was through them that God was there. It was through their hands that God was there. So their presence that day was the presence of God. Pray with me. Lord, we come here this day to remember our brothers and sisters lost on September 11, 2001. We thank you for their example of courage and sacrifice. This is the day of memories, remembering where we were, what we were doing. Today we remember all those who died, but especially we remember the first responders who died that day. We are boundless compassion to all their families, friends, co-workers, and all that mourn their loss. Give us courage and quiet confidence that we may continue on our journey and serve, honor, making you praise. Lord, lead us. Remember that those who are here today, throughout the nation, who are first responders doing their duty, today, in quiet confidence. We ask for their safety and well-being, that they may return home at the end of each workday safely. Amen.
Amen.
Next, I'd like to call Mayor Peter Truax.
Thank you, Chief. Well, good morning. Well, I'd like to, first of all, introduce some people in the audience that are taking time out from a busy day, as have you, for this occasion. First of all, I offer regrets and greetings from the Mayor of Cornelius, Mr. Jeff Deline. Mayor Deline could not be here today because of the demands of the workplace. But we know his thoughts are with us. Also from the City of Cornelius, City Manager Rob Drake. From the City of Forest Grove, City Manager Mike Sykes, and two of my colleagues on City Council, Councilor Ron Thompson, and Council President Tom Johnston. Our thanks today go to the men and women of Forest Grove Fire and Rescue for the work they do, and to the Forest Grove and Cornelius Police Departments and the Cornelius Fire Department. But specifically for Forest Grove Fire and Rescue, they maintain this flag. Firefighters Association volunteered to be the instrument by which we were able to funnel money to purchase new flags. Were the ones that took the responsibility on a volunteer basis to raise and lower the flag and to maintain this area for our appropriate honor. And again, I want to thank them for their work on this. This flag is some kind of flag, and don't you think they're some kind of volunteer? Thank you. Flag is quite a thing. Oh, I don't mean this one behind me, even though it is very, very impressive. I mean the American flag in all its iterations. The one with 13 stars, 13 stripes. The one with 15 stripes, when we thought we could add a stripe for every additional state. We soon got over that idea. Now we've got these stars. The flag that flew over Fort McHenry in Baltimore Harbor. The flag at Iwo Jima. The flag atop the debris at Ground Zero. The flag we truly honor today. This flag is quite a thing. And the people it stands for are quite a thing. I want to talk a little bit about an incident that occurred in Major League Baseball a number of years ago. In, of all places, Dodger Stadium in April 1976. Los Angeles Dodgers were hosting the Chicago Cubs. In the day game, the Dodgers were batting when two individuals ran onto the field with flags, lighter fluid, and matches. After squirting lighter fluid on the flag and having one match blow out in the Southern California breeze, see, there is something about California we like. The second match caught, and just before the match was sent to the flag, Chicago Cubs center fielder Rick Monday ran by, scooped it up, ran it to the Dodger dugout, or he handed it to Dodger pitcher Doug Rauch. As the individuals were being escorted off the field by the authorities, the scoreboard displayed the message, "Great play, Rick Monday." The crowd gave him a standing ovation, and later in an interview after his career concluded, Mr. Monday said, "You know, I played 19 years in Major League Baseball. Someone asked me if it rankled that I am remembered for saving the flag from two people who tried to burn it. To that I say, if that's all you're known for, it's not a bad thing at all." You can watch that moment on YouTube, type in Rick Monday flag, and it'll be there for you. One of my other privileges, besides being your mayor, was having the opportunity for 37 years to announce football at Forest Grove High School. I've seen many an occasion at Forest Grove. I've seen many a great football game. But I've also had the obligation and the opportunity to read for moments of silence prior to games when the Forest Grove family, and that's how I refer to it, when the Forest Grove family has lost a beloved member. I also had something to say that night after September 11, 2001, when Forest Grove was played Silverton High School, correction, Woodburn High School. There was some debate as to whether or not we were to play that game. Finally decided to go ahead and play it. And prior to the game, there were candles lit on both sidelines in memory. And after the ball game, before we played taps, I said the following. I asked us to remember those that were going into the buildings when everybody else was coming out. I asked those to remember the people at the Pentagon. and I ask us to remember those who are in the quiet foothills of western Pennsylvania. And I close with a quotation from Adlai Stevenson. For those of you who are of an age, Adlai Stevenson twice ran for President of the United States. And in 1952, on the campaign trail in New York State, he said, "When an American says he loves his country, he means not only that he loves the New England hills, the prairies glistening in the sun, the wide and rising plains, the great mountains and the sea. He means that he loves an inner air, an inner light in which freedom lives, in which a man can draw the breath of self-respect." Men and women who have offered their lives for their country know that patriotism is not the fear of something, it is the love of something. And on this Patriots' Day, when we honor the memory of so many people who loved this country, and honor you who still love this country, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Truax. The next speaker is a special person to us, firefighter Kevin Richardson, who is a volunteer firefighter with Works Road in Cornelius, started with Cornelius Fire. He's a special person because his whole life has been dedicated to service. He retired from the U.S. Air Force as a tech sergeant, and he felt that wasn't enough. So now he's volunteering as a firefighter, and he's working on going through paramedic school right now. He's one of the most dedicated people to his community that I've ever met. And he asked to speak today on 9/11, and I can't think of a more appropriate person from both departments to talk about the impact of 9/11 on him and his community.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor of unbelievable magnitude for me to be standing here today. Last year on 9/11, I was honored to deliver a speech at the National Fallen Firefighters Memorial in Emmitsburg, Maryland. This is a place where the fire service honors its fallen brothers and sisters who have paid the ultimate price in carrying out their commitment of service to the people of their communities. And today, I am equally honored to be here at the big flag in Forest Grove. I want you to think about a few dates in history that have shaped and changed us as a nation. December 7th, 1941, the attack on Pearl Harbor. November 22nd, 1963, the day that President Kennedy was assassinated. And of course today, September 11th, 2001. Now I'd like you to think about some numbers. 19 and 343. 19, well enough significant from 9/11, was the number of hotshot firefighters that were killed in Arizona earlier this year in service to that community during the wildfires. 343. That is the number of firefighters that were killed on 9/11. But also we must remember the countless number of innocent people who were killed that day in various locations in southern Minnesota. What does that date, 9/11, or the number 343 mean to you? The events of September 11th have changed the nation, but I'm going to tell you how it affected me. I've only been in the fire service a short time, 3 years. Prior to my fire service career at CPK, I served my country in the Air Force, both on active duty and in reserve. And I remember driving to work that day, and because I was in the Air Force, I wasn't thinking of the firefighters or other first responders at the World Trade Center that day and other locations. My focus was on what my unit was going to be doing for the next few days and weeks to come. I was oblivious to the fire service and what they did or even who they were. I wasn't even aware that there was a difference between a fire engine and a fire truck. And on that note, I would like to challenge all of you here today, if you don't know the difference between a fire engine and a fire truck, or even what we do, stop by the station, come by and talk to us. We'll be glad to say the things that we do. Over the past 3 years, I've come to realize what it means to be a firefighter. You can ask each one of the firefighters here today to explain why we do what we do. And everyone will give you a different answer. There's a simple answer of a desire to help people, but it is much more than that. For me, it's belonging to a brotherhood. Brotherhood that is made up of an amazing group of men and women who share the same desire to help people in need. I spent 20 plus years in the military and never felt as close to the men and women in the various units I was involved in as I do the brothers and sisters in my firehouse. They are my family. And although I didn't personally know any one of the 343 firefighters who died that day, I feel that I have a connection to them, and I hope that I am worthy of calling them my brothers and that I can share their honor of what they gave us that day. One way that I honor their memory is I have a sticker on my fire helmet of a shield with the number 343 on it. It is placed very close to a picture of my wife and daughter that I have on the helmet. I started my Firefighter 1 Academy on September 11th, 3 years ago, and now I'm standing here talking about 343 firefighters who I never met personally, but who I humbly refer to as brothers in the fire service. I'm deeply saddened by the events of that day because of what happened to those firefighters, but I am unable to fully describe the feelings of pride and admiration I have for the actions of the firefighters who served and paid the ultimate price that day. There's a motto in the Air Force Rescue Service that says, "These things we do so others may live." The 343 firefighters of the FDNY epitomize this motto. There were people who needed help, and those heroes got their trucks and those here to get the job done. To those of us that were left behind, especially the families and friends of the 343, you have to know that they were heroes. But how many of them would disagree with being called a hero and who would just say they were doing their job? Salvador J. Casano, the 32nd Fire Commissioner of the City of New York, and defeated New York firefighter himself, said the following at a 9/11 memorial service 2 years ago. The world may have called them brave, but we just call it doing our jobs. They died doing what they joined the fire department to do, helping others. When the call came in for help during the horrible events of that day, just like it does every day, because we will always need help. We grab our gear, we jump on a rig, and go to this call. Your events of history that shape a generation, the events of September 11th are what they're called. How many of you here today remember exactly what you were doing when you heard this news? We must always remember the events of this day, and how those events have shaped the fire service and the world. But more important than that, we must never, never forget the price that these brave individuals paid in service of helping someone else. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to bring up, there's a tradition within the fire service, we have a special prayer. And we'd like to bring one of our younger members up to read that. Tonight, I'd like to bring up firefighter engineer Andrew Jensen. Firefighter's prayer. When I'm called to duty, God, whenever flames may rage, give me the strength to save from life, whatever me its age. Help me embrace the little child before it's too late, or save an older person before I've had fate. Enable me to be alert and hear the weakest shout, and quickly and efficiently fire. I want to fulfill my calling and give the best in me, to guard my every neighbor and protect his property. And if according to my fate I am to lose my life, please bless with your protecting hand my children. Now, long before we had computers, radios, and pagers, fire departments used a fire alarm telegraph to announce the line of duty deaths of firefighters. They also used it to announce calls. In fact, firefighter paramedic Ted King just restored the antique bell that existed in the original fire station in Forest Grove, and it still rings on calls. The signal 5555. 5 bells rung 4 times, was transmitted over both primary and secondary circuits. The tolling of the bell 5 times with 4 repetitions continues that tradition as we honor those that died in those horrific attacks. Now I'll pause right here as the ambulance drives by so that their siren doesn't cover our ceremony. And then at that point, we will come to attention and we will honor those that we lost on September 11th through the ringing of that bell 5 times repeatedly. They turned off order. Uniformed personnel, attention. present arms. Uniform. Order. Arms. Some final thought. And I'm going to speak extemporaneously. You can see the Mid-City Manager cringe over there when I say that. The guy that's running around taking photographs, the big, bald, beautiful guy, that's your fire marshal, David Meeman. And last night we were having a conversation. Whenever I have a conversation with David, it's passionate, it's involved. He made me think about the meaning of what we're talking about today. Now, you've heard lots of people talk about 343, and you've heard this is a long line of public safety personnel, but it's not just about the public safety personnel. On Monday, I did an orientation for 26 new volunteer firefighters at Fort Grover, and I talked about this concept of this new profession that they're entering that we have, that some people think is corny, but it means a whole lot to all of the public safety officers here. And that concept is duty, honor, and family. And when we talk about family, when we consider ourselves a family of firefighters and police officers, it's more than that. We're talking about the family we serve, which is every one of you. We're human beings, and we sometimes fail. And just like the members of your family, they're difficult. Sometimes we have difficulty when we respond to you, dealing with the tragedies and with the horror and with the wonderful things and the bad things. But we strive, our goal, which may be unattainable, is to treat everyone that calls on us at time of need as family. So when we talk about the 343, we don't mean to exclude 3,000 others. When we talk about the 343 firefighters, we don't mean to exclude our brothers and sisters police officers. I think we are. The tragedy is one that we comprehend. And so just like all of you, we look for some type of relationship, someone you knew, or some relationship. I was talking to people earlier about how they were there when the towers were built. Such a way. That is how we honor and remember those people that died on 9/11. Recently, 2 weeks ago, I was in Gettysburg with my family, and I had a chance to look at another tragedy in American history. And I reread the Gettysburg Address, something I haven't read for many, many years. And I looked at that again when I was preparing for this speech. And Lincoln summed up the tragedy the country was feeling in a 2-minute speech. And one of the things that he says is that the world will little note nor long remember what we say here. And that's true of what we're saying here tonight. It's ironic that his address is received, is remembered so well. But not here. We're here to honor all of those that were lost. It's our duty to do that. It's our honor to do that because they were all members of our family. Whether they died in Pennsylvania on the earth in the fields, or they died at the Pentagon, or whether they died in the World Trade Towers, or those that are still dying to this day from the injuries suffered. Please never forget that. Please never forget why you're here. Thank you very much for coming today and showing the honor and the duty to your family. Uniform personnel, dismissed.